looking at pieces that I think are going to transcend seasons. So if you are spending a lot of money on designer items, I really don't think they should be trend-led pieces. I think they should... Fabulous. I'm Antonia from timpanis.com. Click here to find out more about us. I'm about to start one of my most favourite video series that I do, and that is a look at the upcoming trends this year for autumn-winter 18-19. I'm going to split this across 4 videos. So I'm going to do 2 on the most wearable clothing trends, and then I'm going to do bags, and then I'm going to do shoes and accessories. So don't forget to hit subscribe if you don't want to miss the rest of the video series. And if this is the sort of content you like at any point throughout the video, just go and hit like, because that really helps me to know whether it's the sort of thing you guys want to see. Other than that, sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and let's kick off. I always find it a little bit strange at this time of year, especially in the UK, when we start at the beginning of August to talk about the winter. Normally at this time of year we've felt really miserable because we haven't even had a summer. This time around we've had the longest summer ever. The whole place is burnt to a crisp and we're sweltering hot, and we're going into the stores and all we can really see is knitwear. So I do feel sorry for the stores having to predict what the British weather is doing, but either way, I'm here with my autumn-winter clothing trends roundup, and I'm specifically going to focus on 2 things. Firstly, really the most wearable trends that I saw coming off the catwalk, because although it is sometimes fun to see pieces like Richard Quinn walk down, it's not necessarily going to be me trudging through the snow in that sort of get up. Also looking at pieces that I think are going to transcend seasons. So if you are spending a lot of money on designer items, I really don't think they should be trend-led pieces. I think they should be quality, incredible pieces that are really going to stand the test of time. So I'm going to be looking at the trends, but also pieces that I think will last beyond just one season. So the first trend that I want to talk about is the trend for female empowerment. And I'm actually loath to even call this a trend. I'm calling it a movement because there's no going back. And it's one of those ones that's kind of spread throughout the year this year. I think all the kind of anti-Trump marches, the Me Too movement. There's been a lot of focus on the rights of the LGBTQ+ community, and it definitely conveyed a really political message across a lot of the catwalks. And in women's wear, this resulted in a much more tailored look. It wasn't kind of conveying women having the strength in a kind of androgynous way that we've seen in previous catwalks, so kind of the woman as the man, but it was a real strength in femininity actually, seen at Alexander McQueen and at Stella McCartney as well. Essentially a more tailored looks this autumn winter. For that reason you could go out and invest in a really beautiful suit. Something like that would always stand the test of time as well, in navy or black depending on your colouring. Can really just look so exquisite, and you can really afford to push the boat out a bit because it is something that is not necessarily a trend but you will always keep in your wardrobe. It's also, if you haven't necessarily got the budget to go out and splash on a really expensive designer suit, you could always look to the high street and then go and get something tailored, because essentially you're really looking at the perfect fit. Not only are you going to be able to hit that more tailored look by purchasing a suit, but you could also combine it with a couple of other trends, and that would be the trend for sort of high-low styling that we're continuously seeing across the catwalk. It just kind of takes the edge off the tailored look. Pair it with a chunky trainer, or there was a huge amount of logos seen across all of the catwalks this season, so most certainly you could go and get yourself a logo t-shirt if you haven't already. So essentially a suit, and not, I mean, I know I mentioned navy and black, it doesn't have to be navy and black. There's beautiful bright hues and pastel hues out there, especially in the shops at the moment, which will last you the end of the summer, and then pairing that with a similar coloured cashmere just really takes it nicely into the autumn winter. So that's trend number 1, tailoring. historically the autumn winter has always been so beautiful for textures. You've got beautiful lace, silks paired with velvet, embellishments, sequins. It's always just such a kind of rich season. And this year the rich fabric of choice was leather, and that was seen across so many catwalks. This was one of my top picks for the trends for this autumn winter, because not only is it chic, but it is also practical too. And that's when I really feel a trend does well, because there is a real warmth to leather that's going to keep you feeling cozy during those cold winter months. And while so many of the other fabrics do look beautiful, there's actually no practicality there at all. So whereas we've seen leather trousers for quite a few seasons now, it always looks chic paired with a chunky knit. This year we saw a lot of the leather dress. We saw it on quite a few different catwalks. Now, when we're talking about investing in a leather dress, I think that it has to be picked really carefully, because as we all know, it's an incredibly expensive fabric, and it's really important that you're going to buy something that's going to see you through many seasons. So whilst it might be tempting to go for something sassy and sexy like we saw at Miu Miu, I think you might be better off going for something similar to what we saw on the McQueen catwalk. You could also look at going for a kind of dress that has buttons up the front and a tie, because that way you're going to get multi-wears out of the piece. You can wear it not only as a dress, but you can also wear it as a kind of jacket over a dress. Again, you'd be hitting those two different trends. One would be the leather, the second would be the trend for layering that we saw a lot on this season's catwalks. So guys, that's the first two trends. Hit subscribe to see my next 3 clothing trends coming up soon.